I sit
Yeah.
here today incredibly excited about it. It's beautiful to have March Madness back and what have you. But I don't even know how to feel about the fact that there's no Kentucky, there's no Duke. I just don't know what to say. Could you talk to us about the absence of these two and what it means to the tournament to not have these two teams in it?
Well, the tournament will survive, and college basketball will survive, and both Duke and Kentucky will. We've had, over the years, maybe, I think it was 1996 was the last time that Duke was not in the tournament, or 95 was the last time Duke wasn't in the tournament. And Kentucky didn't make it 5 years ago or something when Nerlens Noel got hurt. So they'll be back. I'm not worried about it, but it does kind of diminish the brand names of it. But a lot of people may like that. But this year, I don't think anybody's going to worry about it because we've got big shots at the top with Gonzaga, Baylor, Illinois, Michigan. But it does indicate that not all #1 recruiting classes are the same. And when you don't have the superstar talent and you're young, you can be just like everybody else in a lot of games.
Yeah, no Kentucky, no Duke. But, Jay, if I were to say to someone, boy, that Alabama defense, they might win the whole thing. We're talking about basketball, Alabama and Ohio State, right? What's going on? These typical, football program schools have some of the best teams in the country this year.
Well, Ohio State's good all the time. I mean, they've had a great program there. They've been in the Final Four. They were last in the Final Four, I think, in 2012. But they're good all the time. Alabama has knocked on the door of being good for a while, but they're legit this year. Nate Oates was a high school coach in Detroit and is a math guy, and talk about an analytics guy. But they're really good defensively, but they can really shoot the three. And they've got a player named Herb Jones that is the player of the year in the SEC. He's big time. So I think Alabama is Final Four good.
Jay, let me ask you this. We mentioned some of the teams not in it, Louisville, Kentucky, but Rick Pitino back in it, this time taking Iona. I mean, it's unbelievable. He's got 9 lives. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's pretty cool to have Rick Pitino back and to have him back in the tournament. And it was funny. He was on our bracketology show last night and coming over FaceTime or something, Zoom, whatever it was, and he was isolating in his hotel room in Indianapolis, and it did not look like a luxurious suite like he would have had in one of the top hotels as a high seed at either Kentucky or Louisville. It was a single room, and it looked like a hostage video. We joked about it before he came on, and he said as a 15 seed you don't get the best hotel rooms, and just laughing about it. So, but it is good to have him back. And but Iona's been in the tournament the last 5 years. Like Tim Kluse had that program in really good shape when Rick took it over, and it's only going to get better from here.
Sleepers in this NCAA tournament. When we use that word, Jay Bilas, what teams jump out in your mind?
Well, I mean, sleepers usually means first and second round upsets to me. It's funny, Stephen A., you've got a bunch of double-digit seeds that are major conference teams. So a lot of times, you're going to be looking at Rutgers as a 10 or Syracuse as an 11 or Michigan State as an 11, and those are upset picks. I don't look at those as upsets. A couple of the early upsets that I see that are going to be interesting for brackets are going to be in the West, and that is Ohio. Ohio has a point guard named Jason Preston who's going to be a first-round draft pick. He's kind of the LaMelo Ball of this tournament. Averages 16 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. He's a triple-double guy. And very, very talented, fun to watch. They've got a good team, and Ohio U can win in the first round. The other is UC Santa Barbara. They've got really good guards, and I would not be surprised to see UC Santa Barbara beat Creighton in the first round. Creighton did not play well against Georgetown. They got blown out. They've had obviously some issues they're dealing with, but I see UC Santa Barbara as a pretty darn good upset pick. The other one is Winthrop. They're playing against Villanova, and Winthrop can play fast. They've got a point guard, 6'7", Chandler Vaudrin, who's a lefty, kind of got an old man game, another triple-double threat who's had him in the past. And they've got a 270-pound, 6'7", low-post threat named DJ Burns, a lefty. They're both lefties, actually. And they're good enough to beat a Villanova team that is diminished without having Colin Gillespie. He got injured, so he's not going to be playing the rest of the year. I still would favor Villanova, but Winthrop can beat them.
Meantime, speaking of injury, Isaiah Livers, he's a senior with Michigan with a stress fracture in his foot. Real good player. co-captain. What does that mean for their chances? Do you know whether I have not heard that he's coming back? They said indefinitely with a stress fracture. And what does that mean for their tournament chances?
Well, my understanding, Max, is it's a stress reaction, which can, if not properly taken care of, lead to a stress fracture. So I don't know whether he's going to be back for the first round that they're playing in. But without Isaiah Livers, Michigan is compromised. They're still really good. And they're still good offensively, but they're not elite without him. He makes them elite as an offensive team. Overall, he's their best player, I believe. And so I think that puts them, it gives them a little bit of pause if they, I shouldn't say pause now with what pause means, but it gives them a little bit of concern when they go into the second round. They could be playing LSU, and that's a really dangerous game if they have Livers, because LSU is super talented, and they're actually starting to guard people now. They didn't do that earlier in the year. So that's sort of an upset alert there for Michigan in the second round if they get LSU. And without Livers, it's really an upset alert.
Bummer for Juwan Howard. I really wish they were fully healthy. He's done an exceptional job taking over that program. All right, I really want to ask you about a 7-10 matchup in the East region, but this is a national show, so I'm going to avoid that. Can you really quickly give us your Final Four and your winner, Jay?
Final Four, I've got Alabama. I've got Gonzaga. I think Illinois is going to make the Final Four, and I think Baylor is going to do well in its bracket, even though it had some COVID issues not too long ago. And then I've got Illinois and Gonzaga in the final, and I think Gonzaga is going to cut the nets down and be the first undefeated team since Indiana in 1976, which oddly enough was the last time that both Duke and Kentucky did not make the field.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.